Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. I want to teach this to as many U.S. investors, U.S. business owners, U.S. entrepreneurs, U.S. franchisee owners, and also U.S. 1099 income earners. This information I'm going to give you today is not taught in school. Imagine saving taxes year after year, generations after generations. You can use the money that you save to put back into your business, pay off your mortgage, buy a new vehicle, take your family on a well-deserved vacation, give to your favorite charity, or save for retirement. Imagine all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. Think about how much time, anxiety, worry just disappear. Imagine keeping your information 100% private. I started out as a real estate investor, and I was told to get an LLC for every one of my properties. No one told me 40% of LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps get sued every single year. It's state law or statutory law. What I'm going to teach you is on the federal level, and all your information is kept private, and nobody will know what you own, where you own it, or how much you own. Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. My name is Sally Gimmon, and I'm the owner of thetrustisyou.com. My goal is to teach this to as many people as possible. I'm honored that I learned the secret of the rich, and I want to teach it to others. And I believe that the playing field must be leveled for all businesses. The Amazons of the world get free land. My brother lost his brewery because the rents got too high. Let's start sharing my screen. Like I said, my website, www.thetrustisyou.com. You're going to save taxes. You're going to leave a legacy, generation after generation. All lawsuits, I can't stop you from being sued, but all lawsuits become frivolous, and your information is kept completely private. Now, oops, go down. This is the 2025 tax bracket. I want you to look at this closely. There's 4 ways to file your taxes. On January 1st of 2025, quietly, the IRS changed married filing separately. Check out what they did. They increased the taxes on married filing separately to match single, which is the most expensive way of filing. Then there's head of household. You're a single parent with children 18 or younger. And then the cheapest way is married filing jointly. So on January 1st, 2025, the IRS quietly increased married filing separately. If you get nothing else from this program, if you are married, please file jointly. One of my potential clients is a digital marketer. In the first 5 months of 2025, she made $100,000 doing her digital marketing. Her CPA told her since her husband had a W-2 job and she had a 1099 job, they should file separately. She contacted me. I told her about this. We figured out she and her husband are going to save over $5,000 in 1 year on taxes. They're going to be at 32% tax rate. And instead of being taxed at 32% at $197,301, it almost triples to $394,000. Now, the 2026 federal income taxes came out just about 2 weeks ago. I don't want to make fun of President Trump's big, beautiful bill, but when I just did a quote for somebody from 2025 to 2026, same amount, there's tax savings for the full year was a whopping $149 they would save on federal taxes. Again, there's the 4 layers: single, the most expensive way, head of household, married filing separately, and then there's married filing jointly. Again, if you look at this, married filing separately is the same rate as single, all the way up to the 37 percentile. Please file married jointly if you get nothing else out of this. Now, the full name of the tax spendthrift trust is Irrevocable, Complex, Discretionary, Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. If you go to your CPA, and I do want you to research this, your CPA is going to pull up a memorandum that is an IRS opinion letter dated August 9th of 2023. The IRS specifically says they do not like IRS Tax Code 643B. They do not like the Irrevocable Complex Discretionary Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. That's fine. It's their opinion. They can't change it. Only Congress can change the tax code. Unfortunately, right now, Congress can't even get the government to be running, let alone changing the tax code. Now and in my personal opinion, I do not like lima beans. My mom loved lima beans. They're too big and they're ugly and you can't swallow them. So the 5 elements, irrevocable. This means it goes from generation to generation to generation. The Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust is called the Office. It's 7 generations old and has over 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number. Personally, when I got a huge tax bill, I'll tell you my story in just a minute. When I got a huge tax bill, I researched the Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust because if the Rockefellers can save taxes, Sally can save taxes, and you can save taxes. Now, one question I get quite often is it difficult to get things in and out of the trust if it's irrevocable? The honest answer is no, it's not. It's quite simple, and I'll get into that. Complex. This trust can hold money from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. 97% of the trusts sold in the United States are what my mom and dad had and what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television, the family trust or the living trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust. It is designed to avoid probate and then it dissolves and all the assets have to be split up. What I'm teaching you is not the family trust. I'm teaching you what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, and our current President Trump has. This is the secret of the rich. Discretionary. Whoever is a trustee or trustees can make the rules for the beneficiaries. There's no infighting. There's no contesting the will in court. It's ironclad. A client of mine, husband and wife with 4 apartment buildings in California, they're allowing their adult daughter to live in one of the apartments rent-free if she passes 4 random drug tests per month. She has a problem. She actually took her mom and dad to federal court to sue them, saying it was unconstitutional. The judge read over, they had the beneficial trust. The judge read over the trust. He told her she has 2 options. Option A, pass the drug test, live rent-free. Option B, move out and start paying rent. I personally do not want to be invited to their family dinner. Non-Grantor. This makes the trust 100% private. When you start the Spendthrift Trust, you're going to have someone who will never be a beneficiary and who will never be a trustee sign up to be your grantor or settler for the trust. It's not a speed bump, but you do need their social security number. When my mom and dad started the Gimmon Family Trust, very original name, they were the grantors or the settlers for that. My mom passed away first, then my dad passed away, and then all the assets had to be split between my 2 brothers and I. With the non-grantor, you're going to choose someone to do this. I used a family friend. Roy knew me before I was born. He was my grantor for both my business and my Beneficial Spendthrift Trust, and then he signed himself away. If someone tries to research the trust, they'll find out it's based in Texas because that's where the law firm is. And unfortunately, Roy has passed away since I started my trusts in September of 2000. And then the last part, the spendthrift, it has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and it's won both times. You can't get more legal than that. This is the secret of the rich. Now, a little bit of history about the Spendthrift Trust so you have it. It comes from England way back, and if I give you the wrong date, I transpose numbers, I'm dyslexic, 1564, when King Henry VIII, that famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England so he could divorce his wives. Hey, murder a few ladies, start a church. Why not? He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back to the 13th century to the Magna Carta and said, oh, no, King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came to the colonies while we were still part of England. The law firm I work on behalf of was started 77 years ago by a Harvard law professor, his name is Paul Benson. He wrote 5 very specific trusts, spendthrift trusts, to save specific taxes. We're going to go over 2 of them today. The law firm is now run by his grandson and great-grandson, and they inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023, before we were a country. Our current tax structure that we are under started in February of 1913. It was only supposed to be around for a few years, but unfortunately we got involved in World War I, and since 1913 it's grown and grown and grown and grown. The super rich families of 1913, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, and the Kennedys, made sure they could save taxes. Well, they can save taxes, we can save taxes. So let's get to the next page. Now, the 5 trusts that Paul Benson wrote. The business trust is for U.S. business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. If you're making at least $100,000 gross per year, you will save 5 figures in taxes year after year, generation after generation. The second trust Paul Benson wrote, the Beneficial Trust, is for all U.S. investors. You will stop paying the 5 following taxes. You will stop paying capital gains when you sell something at a profit. You will stop paying interest income taxes if you're a passive investor. You will stop paying dividend income taxes if you're in the stock market. You'll stop paying rental income taxes if you're a real estate investor. And you will no longer pay royalty income taxes if you have talent or if you're in the NFT world. The third trust he wrote is the Mineral Rights Trust. I'm going to be honest, I've only sold one of those. One of my Beneficial Trust clients inherited his granddad's horse farm in Oklahoma. On the horse farm, there are 6 oil wells producing oil. The money coming from the oil wells goes through the Mineral Rights Trust, shale rights, coal rights, things like that. The fourth trust Paul Benson wrote, the Charitable Trust. Several of my business clients have saved thousands and thousands of dollars. Even my Beneficial Trust clients have saved thousands of dollars, and they're starting their own charities. One of my clients who does the BRRRR, buy, rehab, real estate, it's interest income taxes. His first year, we saved him $138,000. He had 85 homes. Now he's up to 110 homes in Texas. His wife was a Vietnamese boat person. She came to the United States with nothing on her back but her clothes. They have started a charity to help other immigrants just like her. The 5th trust that is available is the Senior Trust. This is for anyone over 65 who has had a stroke, has dementia, or a heart attack, and who is incapacitated. I do not like the Senior Trust because the senior, it's a blind trust. If they have their facilities, they will get either the business or the Beneficial Trust. So this slide is the business trust. This is an actual client. He called me on January 3rd. He is former military. He's single, ladies, living in Virginia. He works for a defense contractor. He's a 1099 income earner. He knew in 2024 he made $150,000 in 1099 income. He's driving a 10-year-old car and lives in an apartment with 2 roommates and had nothing to show for it. He feels he's going to make more than $150,000 in 2025, but we just used $150,000 just to give him a land base for this. Filing single, most expensive way to file your taxes. 90% on his gross taxes is $25,962. Add in Virginia state income taxes of 5.75%, an additional $8,625. For the full year, he's going to save $34,587. If you're interested, per month, it's $2,882 this client does not have to pay in federal and state income taxes. Again, I'm not a CPA, so I can't tell him how much he will be saving. I personally, in 2022, 2023, saved 92% on my federal income taxes and did not pay North Carolina state income taxes. Yes, I paid 8% to the federal government. In 2024, I made more money with my 3 online businesses. Don't ask me why, but I got to save I saved 94% in federal income taxes, so I only paid 6% to the federal government. I'm happy to pay 6% to the federal government. I am not tax free. I just went to Chick-fil-A a few weeks ago and got 4 sandwiches, 4 crisscross fries, and 3 drinks. I did the drive-through and I took it home. When I looked at my bill, I had $12.98 in takeout charges here in North Carolina. The next time I buy Chick-fil-A, we're eating at the restaurant. I don't want to pay the $12.98 in takeout charges. See, I still pay taxes. Now, my personal story. I started real estate investing in late 2018 when my mom got sick. They drove from Goodyear, Arizona to Charlotte for a wedding. My father called me Thursday before the wedding to say my mom was in the emergency room. They did not know what was wrong. She ended up having septic of the blood or blood poisoning. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. Thank God she got better and came home. Now, 2 other things happened October 2018. It was my watershed month. I was working for a Medicare company. My oldest nephew was getting married in Charlotte. That's what my parents drove to Charlotte for. I had requested the Friday before the wedding, the Monday after the wedding off because I had friends and family coming in from all over the world. I had the vacation time saved and I was denied. Third thing that happened, I bought a brand new 2018 Hyundai Veloster with a moonroof. You need that in Phoenix, Arizona at night. I'm driving to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, second car through on a green light, and some idiot runs the red light, T-bones me on my passenger side. Thank God I'm not injured. He has no insurance, and silly Sally had the paperwork for gap insurance sitting on her kitchen table. She had 4 weeks to fill out the gap paperwork, and her car was 3 weeks old. All of a sudden, I went from being comfortable to eating ramen noodles twice a week like I did in college, and I'm now 53 years old. The first property I bought was in the trust. I bought it in July of 2020 because my mom was in a hospital in North Carolina. This is in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It was a bank-owned reverse mortgage. Oh, let me give you the rest of my story. Sorry, let me go back up. My mom was sick. I was living in Phoenix. They were living in Goodyear. Goodyear, Arizona is 20 miles west of Phoenix on I-10. I was going out to their house once a week. The first week of December, there was a letter that was 27 pages thick. It was my mom's Medicare statement for the first month. Emergency room and 1 month on the ventilator was $72,000. My dad, retired military, they had TRICARE for life. Everything's being taken care of. I'm standing in my mom and dad's kitchen. I have 2 car payments and 1 car. I have a $10,000 deductible on my health insurance. When I had my accident back in October, I asked everyone, please don't call an ambulance because I don't have $10,000. I have a mortgage. I have student loans because I went to graduate school, and I had credit card debt, and I hated my job. Right then and there, in my parents' kitchen, I called my friend Glenn, who had invited me to a real estate meeting in August of 2018. I said to Glenn, hey, open enrollment for Medicare is going to happen from October through December. I'm going to be busy. Let me think about this and join later. Glenn answers the phone the first week of August, and I said, Glenn, I need to change my life. Glenn's like, Sally, next week we're having a Christmas potluck dinner. Get a $5 gift and bring some food and meet my fellow real estate investors. Okay. I knew Glenn and Rhonda, his wife. They were going to be late because they were going to a Christmas pageant. I went to on Camelback Avenue, Phoenix, to a high-rise condo building, and went up there. Met a whole lot of people. It was the best decision of my life. My mentor, Jay Tannenbaum, taught me how to do bank-owned properties nationwide. In 2019, I wholesaled 7 bank-owned properties nationwide, paid off all my debt, and I was a good little real estate investor and had $50,000 in my bank account. Woohoo! Sally was a rock star in her real estate group. Fast forward, my mom gets out of the hospital. She's from Ireland. We canceled a major St. Patrick's Day party March 17th of 2020 because of COVID. I had 3 notes. On April 1st of 2020, the 3 notes did not pay me. I had no money coming in. On April 4th of 2020, my CPA calls me to say, actually says, congratulations, Sally. You made so much money in 2019. Your tax bracket went from 22% to 24%, and you owe $94,000 in short-term capital gains. Let's go back here to see this. I'm single. I went from 22% to 24%, and I owed so much more money in taxes. My great aunt Kitty in Ireland always said, sleep on it. If you want a fantastic book to read, it's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I made an appointment with my CPA to get set up on a payment plan because I only had $50,000 saved and had no other money coming in. And I go to bed crying. Next morning, I wake up 5 a.m. and I'm like, I read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust and I started researching it. My solution for my capital gains bill was to take a HELOC off my paid off house, actually townhouse, defeats the purpose of being paid off. And I started researching the Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust. In July of 2020, I bought this house for $20,000. Woo, 2020 everywhere. I knew it was going to go to auction when COVID restrictions got lifted, and that $30,000 spread from $20,000 to the auction price of $50,000, that $30,000 at 24% tax bracket would be $7,110. I didn't start on my 2 trusts until September of 2020. So this was bought in an LLC. Personally, I had to do 2 bill of sales. I Googled it. I had to go from my LLC to Sally Gimmon, from Sally Gimmon to my beneficial trust. I went to the bank. My banker, Jose, notarized them. I had $10 in my wallet. I gave him $10 for consideration. He put in his notary book. I went back home. I scanned the 2 notarized contracts, sent them to the attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. The next day, the attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina asked for the first page of my trust. It did not go to auction until August of 2021. It was bought in July of 2020, so 13 months. The final bid was $64,326. Woohoo! Without lifting a hammer, I made $44,326. Times that by 24% tax bracket. On this first property, I got to save $10,368 in capital gains, short-term capital gains. I took that and put it into more real estate. The beneficial trust is going to save you the 5 following taxes. You're no longer to pay short-term or long-term capital gains. Short-term capital gains are when you sell crypto, you're an options trader, you're a forex investor, you're wholesaling, you're doing fix and flips, you're doing auction houses or tax liens. We'll get to long-term capital gains in just a second. Interest income taxes, just like federal income taxes, are between 10% to 37%, depending on your tax bracket, and affect you if you're a passive investor, you're in mutual funds, you're in a REIT, you're doing the BRRRR strategy, subject to real estate, notes where you're the paper on the house, people pay you the mortgage, creative financing, seller financing, or forex investors. Yes, forex investors, you get taxed twice. You need to know about the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust. Dividend income taxes, again, just like federal income taxes, between 10% to 37%, 7 different layers, affect you if you're in the stock market, you're a day trader, you're a futures trader, you're doing commodities, or you're living off of dividends. Rental income taxes, just like federal income taxes, between 10% to 37%, 7 different layers. I don't care if you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals, 3 doors, 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, 100 doors. Maybe you're in multifamily, apartment buildings, you have commercial property, or you're doing Airbnb arbitrage. Yes, you can move a property on a depreciation schedule into the trust. Yes, you could put a property on a cost averaging into the trust. Remember, all lawsuits become frivolous, and LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps are not private. The one that's not on here is a little bit less. It's between 10% to 35%, 7 different layers, but royalty income taxes. If you're an actor, an actress, a musician, maybe you're an author, an artist, you're in NFT world, you have copyrights, patents, or intellectual property. Robin Williams, the great comedian, comic actor, had the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust. Unfortunately, he committed suicide, but all his works, his 3 adult children, pay no royalty income taxes on any of his great work. I just watched Mrs. Doubtfire a few weeks ago. Now, long-term capital gains are a year or more, in effect, are either 15 or 20%. They affect you when you sell a business, sell an investment property, or a baseball card. This is an actual client of mine. The son saw my TikTok video. He knew his mom and dad were selling the restaurant in Kentucky as is. He contacted me. His dad, Jim, and his 2 brothers built this restaurant 42 years ago. Jim had never been on Zoom and didn't know how to get on. He told me he was working with Sam, his business broker, to sell the restaurant. Gave me Sam's phone number. I called Sam and said we need to change the contract to the trust name at 15% on April. They sold it March 30th of 2023. At 15%, they got to save $450,000. At 20%, they'll get to save $600,000. Sam, the business broker, is like, I'm going to make $30,000 off this deal. I need the business trust. I told him about my affiliate program. Sam tells Michael, who's buying the family restaurant in Kentucky, it's going to be his 7th restaurant in 3 different states. Michael's like, how much money am I going to save in taxes and state income taxes in all 3 states? He got the business trust. Sam got an extra $1,000 on this deal. He's brought me more clients, selling their business, saving capital gains, buying the business, saving federal and state income taxes. Now, one of the things I do want to talk to you about is IRMA. If you are 65 and on Medicare, this could affect you. I've had several clients who started this because of IRMA. Every October, it's not the IRS, it's, whoops, I'm gonna run out of time, sorry. It's not the IRS, it is, they go back 2 years to 1040 tax returns. October 2025, they looked at 2023 tax returns. If you're single and making more than $106,000 a year from Social Security, pensions, wages, 401k withdrawals, SEP withdrawals, interest income taxes, capital gains, dividend income taxes, rental income taxes, or royalty income taxes, or if you're married and making more than $212,000, this is going to affect your Part B of Medicare, which is your doctor visits and tests, and Part D of Medicare, which is your prescriptions. This information is 2025. They haven't come out with 2026 information just yet. One of my clients who contacted me because he and she had done very well with investments on the stock market, we were going to save them quite a bit of money, 6 figures, in dividend income taxes. The wife says, I also know we're paying over $490 a piece for Medicare. They were making so much money that I was able to save them each for, I could not save them everything. Everyone must pay $185 in 2025 for their Medicare, their Social Security, but the rest of the money, over $800 per month in IRMA, they got to save. So they're not paying dividend income taxes, and they no longer are paying IRMA surcharges on Part B and D of Medicare. Now, if you would like to find out how much you could be saving in taxes, please set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me at www.thetrustisyou.com/scheduling. I have a free class on the Great Discovery. It's going to be a seminar sort of like this. You're going to get 3 articles from Forbes magazine I did not write, 2 pages of case law so you can research this to your heart's content, and then examples of clients saving thousands and thousands of dollars. Again, I want to say thank you for coming to my program today. I hope every U.S. investors, U.S. franchisee owners, U.S. entrepreneurs, U.S. 1099 income earners, and also business owners how you can save taxes. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.